Tonight, a new woman is suing to speak out about her links to Donald Trump. She argues she deserves the right to speak out about her history, and her name is Karen McDougal. You see her here. She is a former Playboy model, and she previously has suggested she had a 10-month relationship with Trump dating to 2006. Now, like Stormy Daniels, she did sign an arrangement, a deal that would include her silence on the issue. But tonight, her new suit says that she was, quote, tricked into signing it while being misled as to its contents, including by her own lawyer. And this move comes amidst another new report that Stormy Daniels actually passed a 2011 lie detector test about her claims about her links to Trump. This newly released test tonight says she passed it while asserting that she had, quote, intercourse with Donald Trump, and she discussed her claim that Trump offered her to get on The Apprentice. Also, a third woman in the news tonight, former Apprentice contestant Summer Zervos, has a defamation suit, and a judge greenlit it today. She had accused Trump of groping her in 2007. Donald Trump has denied all three sets of those allegations. But as he faces this mounting pressure from Mueller in a criminal probe, we're also tonight seeing years of these different allegations from different places all arriving to hit him today in civil court. Note that each of these allegations began years ago. It was 2006 there that you see Stormy Daniels alleges she got her payments for not discussing that relationship. That's the same year, 2006, you see in the middle, where Summer Zervos alleges Trump groped her. Today, it's Stormy Daniels' lawyer who says Donald Trump was in on all of this. Mr. Trump has been fully aware, you allege. Does that mean you have evidence or reason to believe he was aware of the threat against Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
That's new. That's in the now category. And if you look in the middle, this was the news breaking today that this suit from McDougal would go forward right here on MSNBC.
A former Playboy model who claimed she had an affair with Donald Trump sued on Tuesday to be released from a 2016 legal agreement requiring her silence.
That suit implicates Trump and his lawyer, Michael Cohen. It's technically against AMI, the publisher of the National Enquirer. And then you look to the right side of your screen where also, and we didn't plan it this way, but the news breaks today, a judge ruling that Apprentice contestant Summer Zervos' suit is not frivolous, and it will also go forward and go to court. With me on these stories, Vox Media's Liz Plank, the Wall Street Journal's Shelby Holiday, who's been covering this story, and Gloria Allred, who represents Summer Zervos. I want to turn to you, Liz, because you said something on this show a while ago that got some attention, that it might be an adult film actress who ultimately outsmarts Donald Trump. How do you take that point and extend it to these other stories that are all just happen to be breaking tonight?
Right. I mean, it's only fitting that a president who spends so much of his time in office trying to control women's bodies, that he might go down because he isn't able to control his body. And that is honestly the best case scenario, right? In this, in all of these stories, not all of them, but the two, involving adult film stars, is that he had affairs with these women, right? That he's a cheating pig. That's the best case scenario right now. The worst case scenario is that, we don't know what these women know that Donald Trump doesn't want us to know. We know that there is, possibly a threat of violence coming from the president or someone, that the president that's sort of connected to the president. We've now, there's a possibility of a felony if he did use campaign funds to pay off some of these women. So we have to, a lot of people are saying, why is this story important? Because we don't know what the story is.
Well, you put it that way. The McDougal suit is brand new. I was just reading through it while running from different MSNBC sets to set today. And one of the claims she makes is election related. Another I want to read to you because I think it builds on the point you just said, because she argues that she was misled, that she was fraudulently induced. And she says she didn't realize she'd end up treated as a puppet by powerful men colluding to achieve their own financial and political ends, Shelby. And it is different than some of the other suits because we're learning through her suit and these allegations, which I note are disputed.
Right.
The allegation that the National Enquirer and these other publications were basically in cohort or in concert with Michael Cohen, Trump's longtime lawyer, to silence her while tricking her into thinking that she was going to be signing a publishing deal.
Right, and the president denies these allegations, as you said. But what's so important about this story is
Not just that it's another voice, not just that it's another lawsuit, not just that it's another credible person who people will start to believe when it comes to Donald Trump's treatment of women, but it's amazing politically because when you look back on the campaign, the president and his team organized this big strategy to respond to the Access Hollywood tape and even bragged about their response, that it worked, that voters didn't care, that people elected Donald Trump anyway. That is coming back to bite them big time right now as they're trying to fend off multiple suits. People close to the president or close to his campaign say the reason they're going so hard after Stormy Daniels and seeking $20 million, saying she breached her contract 20 different times, is because they don't want other women to come forward. If they allow her to come forward,
right. That was a theory that was bubbling.
Correct.
Do you look at this new suit from Karen McDougal as evidence that that theory adds up?
Yes, and I think a lot of voters, too, are raising their eyebrows like, is this the beginning? We're nowhere near the end. And what else will we see? And I think, to Liz's point, what's extremely important is, can the president be blackmailed? And what is Michael Cohen's role in covering things up? Those are two important questions.
You mentioned the strategy during the campaign. I want to look at what Donald Trump claimed he would do. And as is often the case, I'm showing this video not because it's true, but because it turned out to be false. Donald Trump appealing to voters by suggesting he would drag these women accusers to court. In fact, he's been dragging them legally as of Friday out of court and into arbitration. Here was Donald Trump on the campaign trail.
Every woman lied when they came forward to hurt my campaign. Total fabrication. The events never happened. Never. All of these liars will be sued after the election is over.
None of them were sued. I turn to Gloria Allred, who's represented many women in and out of court in what we know to be a difficult situation. Your view of why that statement proved false and the wider significance of these cases tonight?
Well, only, of course, President Trump can say why he said what he said. But I do want to also add that I think there was a suggestion that Karen McDougal, who I do not represent, might have been an adult film star, and I don't believe that she is.
No, she was in Playboy was the reference.
Yeah, Playboy, but not, you know, not pornographic material. So having said that, you know, I think that these women obviously, that is Ms. McDougal and Ms. Daniels, would like to be able to share what their story is. They have set forth the reasons in their lawsuit. And, you know, there are many, many women who just refuse to be silenced anymore. They want to stand up. They want to tell what their truth is. And they feel that the arbitration clauses that they entered, that were in their arbitration agreements, their non-disclosure settlement agreements, you know, should be challenged. So a court will decide whether or not there is a basis for that challenge or whether their disputes need to be in arbitration. Usually what happens, and I've done thousands of confidential settlements in the 42 years that I've been practicing law. I just did some last week. But generally, there'll be a motion to compel arbitration by the defendant, and then the court will decide whether or not it's going to go and be decided by an arbitrator in a confidential arbitration, or whether or not it can remain in county superior court, state court, and be decided in public.
What do you think is better?
I always think it's better for a jury to decide, and for a judge in a public forum, in a public venue, a courtroom, to decide. But often, in exchange for money, the plaintiff will agree to the arbitration clause. If she does not, she will not receive payment for her claim.
But this dovetails back to what Liz was discussing, which is you believe for women in these situations it's better to be in open court. A lot of voters, even at Trump rallies, apparently believe it's better to be in open court too. Because Donald Trump didn't go out there and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm so sure I'm right. I'm going to sneak a binding arbitration clause provision into a footnote so no one will ever really know what happened. He didn't say that. He very blatantly, as we showed, said, I'm going to take him to court. So there's something going on here that's broader, which is even Trump supporters think that would be a good thing. What happens when they learn over time that there are so many cases where he's fighting not to win in court, and does that mean you're not a winner? Which I know that's a big
Absolutely.
threatening thing to hear. Maybe he's not a winner here.
Right, and that's the last thing he wants to be seen as, right? And it's also important to put all this into context. There is a really big historical context of Donald Trump paying women to be silent. Even, you know, in his divorce deal with Ivana Trump. He basically, there was a full-on gag order where she could not speak about, anything related to him. And when in her deposition during the divorce, she basically, said that Donald Trump raped her. And then a reporter reported on that deposition. Donald Trump's lawyer just crafted a statement that basically said that that wasn't true. And even in his divorce with Marla Maples, there was the same sort of gag order. And in 1999, when he said that he wanted maybe to run for president, she said, it will be my responsibility to speak out about his character and tell the American public what he's really like. And she then she stopped getting her alimony payments. So
and those are hotly contested. And I should note, of course, several of these cases, including the two that we're reporting on tonight, two of them don't allege non-consensual activities.
Right.
I have to say that. But Shelby, on the politics broadening out, there are a lot of folks who say, well, whatever you think, this was litigated. And when you talk about the avenue of consensual allegations, whatever one thinks privately, this was something a lot of Democrats defended Bill Clinton for to the max. Do the politics of this, having covered the law, in your view, matter? Do they hurt Trump in any way or not?
At this point, when you look at, excuse me, when you look at polls, it's a very polarized electorate, if you can believe it. Republicans tend not to believe the stories of these women at this point. Democrats do. I do think the issue of the treatment of women is a big deal for voters, both on the left and the right, and that will play out over the next couple of months. But I also want to say that there's a national security concern, and a lot of people in the national security community are really just shocked by this, because not only is the president dealing with lawsuits, the Russia investigation, and now these lawsuits, but also he's firing people in his cabinet. He's threatening tariffs against China. He might be meeting with North Korea's leader. There's a lot of uneasiness about where the president is.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.